but nothing else responded. The buildings were grandiose, like cinemas gone dark. The lower windows boarded up and plastered with posters for rock groups and the dud grins of politicians in the previous year's elections. The names of newspapers, printing works, engineering firms in forward-looking deco script could still be read above the padlocked entrance grilles. There was a sense that cacophonous all-night business had been done here, and that the city, with a certain unflustered malevolence, had chosen its moment and stilled it, and reasserted its own dead calm. At the street's end was the long, vulgar front of a hotel, the Pilgrimage and Commercial, still with its brass entrance rail and the red and blue badges of motoring clubs. I climbed the steps amid the ghost throng of arrivals and peered through the splendid glass doors onto a shadowy half-acre of mud and rubble. I was at a bar that was quite crowded, back in the middle of town. I'd had a few drinks, my sense of possibilities was bobbing up again, as well as a feeling of justified delay. I'd only just arrived. There was time for everything. I looked out through my cigarette smoke and the coppery half-light at various strangers, some chatting, some embracing, others airily alone. It was called the Cassette. I had a presentiment of it in a month or two's time, when these first impressions of brass taps and bottle-glass windows and little varnished compartments would be dulled, and I would take the manners of the two barmen, one taciturn, the other solicitous, for granted. I smiled at my own sense of anticipation, of being poised for change, ready to fall in love, and finding myself in the midst of this ordinary evening in the oddly mock Tudor surroundings of the city's one gay bar. I thought perhaps I should go and eat somewhere, but I ordered another beer first. They were quick and lightweight. You could have as many as you liked. I stretched and admitted how tired I was. I'd been up at dawn to leave, my mother speechlessly helping, unable to disguise her misery and anxiety as she drove me to the Dover train. I sympathized with her and felt confirmed in the rightness of what I was doing. It was something I couldn't explain, although explanations were asked for. I had mumbled reluctantly about time running on, and about the job abroad being only temporary, but not about the darker sense of stepping already along the outward edge of youth, and looking back at those who were truly young, with unwelcome eagerness and regret. Just in front of me was a boy with thick fair hair and a long, rather mouthy face. It must be a local type. I saw that the older man he was with couldn't quite believe his luck, and was clinging to it with clumsy determination while it lasted, though the boy himself appeared relaxed by his frequent caresses. I caught the boy's eye from time to time while he carried on talking as if he couldn't see me. I found myself idly imagining our life together. A middle-aged man in a suit came and stood by me and started talking about his success in business. I was polite, as always, but he could probably tell I thought something wasn't right. He looked around a good deal and wanted seconding in his view of other people here. Several times he backed into the pathway of kids who were going to the loo and then turned his apology into a hurried half-embrace. Sex was very firmly at the top of his agenda, but in some obscurely unflattering way he seemed not to regard me as a sexual possibility myself. He asked if I had any contact numbers. I said no, and then wondered what they would put you in contact with. I couldn't explain to him my odd sexual economy of the past few years, the fantasy-ridden continents, the sparse ration of intense and anonymous treats. I didn't know how it had come about. I wasn't sure I could expect much from my hotel, the Mykonos, which advertised in the English gay press. It had seemed the usual stuffy warren when I checked in, the tiny lounge, sour and abandoned. At the other end of the bar, near the door, a man smiled at me quickly and skeptically, looked away, looked back. I stopped off by him for one more drink, offered him one, puzzling for a moment over my fold of high-denomination notes, the unfamiliar portraits of the makers of Belgian history. There was a dangerous quality to him.